This running back class has a chance to be truly, truly special. Dare I say the word generational? There are so many unbelievable running back talents in this draft class that we are going to get to talk about in today's video. But before we get into it, leave a like on the video and subscribe if you are new. Also, be sure to sign up for my Patreon, the Dashing Draft Guys. It's $5 a month. You guys will get exclusive access to my draft guide. You will also get to see early prospect spotlight rankings on all of these players, prospect interviews, and much, much more. So if you guys enjoy NFL draft content, I highly recommend paying the $5 a month. It is well worth your money. But today we're going to be talking about the running backs, and it's a very good running back class. There are a lot of guys that could have made the cut. We're only talking about 15 of them today. So a couple of guys that just missed it. Jordan James from Oregon was in there. Jarquez Hunter out of Auburn was up there. Phil Maffa from Clemson was another guy that I really, really like, but just ended up just missing the cut. And there's quite a few other guys that I'm blanking on right now. But again, you guys check out the draft guide. You can see the full rankings in order. But we're doing 15 running backs today. We're going to be talking about them from 15 to 1, starting off at number 15. And that is going to be Nick Singleton out of Penn State. Maybe one of the most patient runners in this entire draft class. I really loved how he would just wait for the holes to open up. He wasn't getting a ton of mileage on his legs because a lot of it was Katron Allen. They split the backfield last year at Penn State, but he's a very patient runner who's got really good shiftiness, quickness, can juke guys out of their shoes. Really like that from him. The issue I think a lot of people are going to talk about is when you watched him as a true freshman, Nick Singleton was out of this world. It looked like he could be a potential first-round pick. He didn't really have that last year. Not really the fastest guy in the world. While he's got solid burst and quickness, he's got a good jump cut, a good first step. His long speed is not great. On top of that, he wasn't used in the receiving game for a variety of reasons. Number one, he just didn't have great hands at the position. Number two, he wasn't a good blocker. So if he wasn't a receiver, he wasn't a blocker. He doesn't really offer much in terms of his receiving upside, but I really like him as a runner. We know Penn State's got a long history of great running backs. Katron Allen is another guy in this class that I think is probably an undrafted guy, but he's got some upside. But I like Nick Singleton. I think he's patient. I think he's quick, shifty, and he makes guys miss, which I really like. Good contact balance as well. At number 14, we've got C.J. Donaldson out of West Virginia, a guy that I think a lot of people are sleeping on in this running back class. He's 19 years old, one of the youngest running backs in the entire draft class, which age does matter at the running back position because we know running backs, they don't last as long as some of these other position groups. And he's got a big frame. He's, I believe, around 6'2", runs the ball really well, and his body just absorbs contact really well. He bounces off defenders. The real issues here, well, I don't think there's a lot of issues, more just inexperience. He's still learning the position playing running back. He converted from a tight end when he initially committed to West Virginia, committed as a tight end. He's now a running back on this roster, and he's been very good, very productive. When asked to run inside, though, didn't really love what he offered. He liked to bounce the ball to the outside, was more an outside zone guy because he had the quickness and the speed to win. He offers nothing as a receiver. He's not – West Virginia had like 3 different running backs they would rotate in and out. I think Jaheim White being the best of them. He's not eligible this year. But C.J. Donaldson was not great when asked to run up the middle, was more that outside zone runner, which is fine. There's a role for that in the league. But that being said, I think those are some areas that he can improve on. But Donaldson, a young, big running back that I think could have a really nice season and up his stock next season. At number 13, we've got Taj Brooks from Texas Tech. Absolutely incredible through contact. His contact balance is out of this world. Just bounces off defenders, almost impossible to tackle, it seemed. This guy was very, very good. Wasn't used a lot on receiving downs, but when he was used as a blocker, and he might be the best blocking running back in the entire draft class. He's got some really good mechanics as a blocker, plays low to the ground, and he plays with speed and power. When I say speed, I mostly mean quickness because he doesn't have this crazy long speed, which is going to be an issue that I think could hurt him. Is his deep speed not incredible, but he plays really quick and he can just run guys over. He's a super powerful runner. I love what he can bring. My friend, the mock draft guy, calls him a bull in a china shop. He's just runs around, impossible to really catch. He's not a receiving back, didn't really have great hands, wasn't a great route runner out of the backfield. He's got a lot of mileage on his legs, an older running back prospect who's just gotten a ton of carries for the Red Raiders over the last few years. But what he offers as a runner through contact, I think he's got a chance to be a special player at the next level. We'll see what he can go. I think his draft range right now is around the 4th or 5th round, but I think his upside is certainly there. At number 12, we've got Donovan Edwards out of Michigan. Maybe a bit low for some people. I think he's got a lot of upside, but he's never been a number 1 running back. He's kind of been that number 2, that Robin to Blake Corum. He's had injuries, and he doesn't like to run outside. I don't think his contact balance is that great. Not a very powerful running back, which is a bit surprising because he's got good size at the running back position, but very good receiving back. I like the way they used him on screens. I thought he had really good vision, was a patient runner, saw holes before they opened up, had a cut to get back, and he has really, really good top-end speed. He's explosive, and he's got that top-end speed to win, but there are concerns. The injury history. What is he going to look like as the number 1 guy in this Michigan offense? And can he be a guy that is asked to run up the middle a little bit more? Because we haven't really seen that from Donovan Edwards at this point in his career. Going to be a lot more asked of him next year, but I certainly think he has potential to up his stock. He's a very good running back, a very good balanced runner, and I've got him at number 12. At number 11, it is Trevor Etienne, transfer from Florida, now going to be going to Georgia. Going to be very interested to see how they use him because he's got a receiving upside. He's 19 years old. He is super quick. I mean, his footwork is absolutely outstanding. Moves his feet really well, has good jump cuts, shifty. Really, really like what he can do. I mean, he doesn't have a big frame. I believe he's at around 5'10", maybe a little bit smaller than that. Not really the biggest guy in the world. He's not a power runner. He is going to be that finesse runner, run to the outside. He doesn't really have great anchor as a blocker either. But overall, I think Trevor Etienne is a very fun running back that I'm going to be interested to see what he does in Georgia. He was kind of done dirty at Florida, I felt like, because they really trusted and had this weird affiliation for Montrell Johnson. Montrell Johnson's been a great running back. I think he's got potential, but Etienne, I thought, looked a lot better, was quicker, had some really good speed, shiftiness. We didn't really get to see him used the way I thought he should have been used. So I've got him at number 11. I think a big year at Georgia could push him up these boards pretty significantly, but he just doesn't have the biggest frame, and that's a big issue for me. At number 10, we got Raheem Rocket Sanders. Had a down year in 2023. Was a guy that a lot of people thought was going to be the number 1 running back, had potential first-round buzz entering the draft class, and we just didn't get to see it last year for Arkansas. He's transferring to South Carolina, which I thought was a bit odd of a choice, going back home, I guess, but he's a powerful runner. He runs with his head down. He can run guys over. In the receiving game, you'll see if you guys look at my draft guide and my scouting report, felt like a decoy for KJ Jefferson in the run game. He just wasn't used there, didn't have great hands as a receiver, but also just was kind of just thrown to the outside, so defenses kind of had to respect him there. KJ Jefferson didn't like to get him the ball in the receiving game. Now, I think he's got upside as a receiver. We just haven't seen it yet. He's a very shifty back. I think he's got really good quickness, and he's got a good anchor as a blocker. I still believe in Raheem Sanders. He's still in my top 10. I still think he goes in that 3rd, 4th round range. I'd like to see him improve his patience, though. Kind of likes to play with his head down, just run straight into the defense. Like to see him be a little bit more patient, wait for holes to open up, but he's got the ability to make guys miss and run them over, which are 2 things that I think go well together. And I think Raheem Sanders can be a really good running back at the next level. At number 9, it's DJ Giddens from Kansas State. I'm really excited for what he's going to do because he's got a great blend of power and quickness, and I love it. He can run guys over, but he's also super shifty and super quick. Now, he's not super fast. His top-end speed was questionable, and didn't really have any big games in college. It felt like a lot of his big games were 10, 15 yards. Didn't really have anything that really took the top off where he's gone. Trayshawn Ward seemed to be that guy for this team. Not a good blocker, but he's got receiving upside. He's really good at evading contact, staying on his feet, keeping his legs churning, falling forward. There's a lot to like about DJ Giddens. Him and Dylan Edwards are going to be a really fun running back duo to watch next season because I think they've got some real potential studs there. But overall, I think Giddens is one of the more underappreciated backs in this class. He's got receiving upside. He's got the contact balance. If he could be a little bit faster and if we could see him develop as a blocker, I could see him being one of the 5 best running backs in this loaded draft class. At number 8, we've got Omarion Hampton. I know this is low for some people. Hampton was incredibly productive for the Tar Heels last year. He does a lot of really good things for you. His top-end speed is very, very good. His vision is there. He's got really good contact balance, and he's got upside as a pass protector. It really just came down to his shiftiness. I didn't think he really had the ability to make guys miss in the open field. He didn't really juke guys out the way that I wanted to see. Didn't really offer a lot as a receiving back either. Those are 2 areas that are really important to me with my running backs that Omarion Hampton didn't have. Now, if he develops that, he's a top 5 running back in this class without question because his talent is there, his vision, his pass protection, his balance. Like, he does a lot of things that you love to see from the running back position. And he does it at a really high level. But can we see a little bit more consistency in those areas? Can we see him develop as a receiver? I think we could see it because I think Max Johnson could get him the ball on some shorter plays, but we'll see what happens. I'd love to see that shiftiness improve, but I think Hampton is my biggest question mark entering this because I think the potential's there. We just haven't seen him put everything all together, and that's why he's at number 8. At number 7, we've got Damian Martinez out of Miami. I absolutely love Damian Martinez. Reminds me of a baby Marshawn Lynch. This guy is awesome. He has got really good size at about 6'1", 200 pounds. He's got power to him. He just puts his head down. He can just truck guys, run them over. I love watching the way he runs the football. He's patient. He can stop and go on a dime. He's really, really smart. Made guys miss. His shiftiness was weird because he had moments where it's like, oh, he just juked that guy out of his shoes. And then the next moment, it just felt like his shiftiness was gone. Inconsistent in terms of his burst. He's not the most explosive running back in the world. Isn't the fastest guy. He wins with power. That being said, he can still have these big rushes similar to how Marshawn Lynch had because I don't think his speed is bad. He's probably going to run in like the 4.48s if I had to guess. But I think he's going to be really big for Miami this year. Not the greatest pass protector in the world, but man, he does a lot of things that I really love to see from the running back position. I think he offers upside as a receiver as well. There's a lot to like about Damian Martinez. He's at number 7. At number 6, we got TreVeyon Henderson. So going into last year, TreVeyon Henderson was a lot of people. Everyone's like, oh, he's the number 1 running back in this class. I was like, I don't see it with him. I was like, I just don't get it. I don't get what he can do. He does a lot of things good, but I don't think he does anything great. And then I turned on his tape this year. I was wrong about TreVeyon Henderson. TreVeyon Henderson is a beast. It sucks that they brought in Judkins for Henderson's development. I thought he should have come out last year because now he's in a split backfield. What is it going to look like? I think his production is going to go down. He's going to fall in the draft as a result. He's not very good when running to the inside, but he might have the best speed in this entire draft class. When he gets going, he's impossible to catch. He's a blazer. He's patient. He's got a really strong, effective jump cut. He's got really good receiving upside. He's a good blocker as well. It's just the injury history. He was in and out of the lineup last year for Ohio State. He's now going to have a split backfield with Quinshon Judkins, and he's going to be the number 2 because Judkins is just, I'm really high on Quinshon Judkins. He's not great on running to the inside, so he's at number 6 for me. I think he could be a really good player, be a good NFL player as well, but this is a loaded running back class. I got Henderson at 6. At number 5, we've got Devin Neal out of Kansas. I wanted him to come out of the draft last year. Reminds me a lot of Tony Pollard. One of the better receiving backs in this class. They played him a lot in motion. He got the ball in the slot at times, very patient runner, very quick, very shifty. That's his game. He is a finesse runner. You get the ball to the outside, you can juke guys out. He can just run right by them. He's very fast. He's very patient, and he's a very good receiving back. He's not strong, though, and that's really the issue. He's not great when asked to run up the middle, doesn't have amazing contact balance. He had some fumbles that showed up on tape for Kansas. I think he's about a second or third round prospect because I think the speed is there for him. Can he improve on the ball security and his contact balance? I think he can. I think that's definitely there for him, but I really like Devin Neal. I've got him at number 5. I think he does a lot of things well. At number 4, it is Jaden Ott out of Cal. I remember I was playing Underdog Fantasy, used my code JWAC for double your initial deposit, and I bet on him on the over against USC. And he hit the over on his yards. I think the over-under was like 120 and a half or something like that. He hit the over in the first half. Jaden Ott is awesome as a running back. He has got really good speed. He's got good size to him. Again, I think he's around 6'1", 205. He's shifty, he's quick, and he makes guys miss. He's also got a combination of power and speed. He can run you over, but he also could just run right by you. He's got a really nice blend there. He's a running back, and he's not going to offer much as a receiver. Was not very great as a receiver. The hands were an issue. He's up and down as a blocker for me, but what he does as a runner, it's some of the most impressive running in this entire draft class. I am very high on Jaden Ott. I think he's going to be a very good running back at the next level. I've got him at number 4. Ready to piss some people off here at number 3. I've got Ollie Gordon at number 3. Ollie Gordon is an awesome running back. He is a top 30 player in this draft class for me. He's unbelievable. The production that he had last year for Oklahoma State, out of this world. His vision is there. He sees holes. He's able to juke guys out. He's explosive. He's strong as a runner. Good contact balance. Like, he does everything really, really well. But similar to Jaden Ott, he's got ups and downs as a receiver. I think he's a little bit more consistent as a receiver. The hands were a little bit of an issue for Ollie Gordon. He's not a great blocker. And I think he's going to have a lot of mileage on his legs. I think he's going to have close to 500 carries next season. Not next season, but as combined over the last 2 years. And that scares me with running backs, guys that just have a lot of carries, because they are more likely to get injured. So I'd like to see him stay a little bit more healthy. I am a little bit worried about that, but my gosh, the vision and the insane burst that he had and quickness was really, really impressive from what I saw from Ollie Gordon. Really like what he could bring to the table. And I've got him as my number 3 running back. Again, he would have, if we go back to, I think starting at Omarion Hampton, every single one of these guys would have been my number 1 running back in last year's draft class. So no shame to Ollie Gordon. This class is just that good. Number 2, I've got Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State. Differently from Ollie Gordon, he's a little bit undersized. He's not the most powerful runner. He's got up and down vision at times, and he loves to bounce it to the outside. He's just not a guy that's going to run the ball up the middle down your throat with power. He wants to bounce that to the outside. But he's in a joint backfield, or he was last year with George Halani. He just makes guys miss at an unbelievably high rate. He is one of the best receiving backs in the country. He's a very good blocker. He's about 5'8", but he does not play like he's 5'8". He's got incredible contact balance. He's a really, really good running back. These Ollie Gordon, Ashton Jeanty, and my number 1 guy, all first-round picks in my opinion. I think all these guys are very good running backs. He reminds me a lot of Aaron Jones as a runner, the way he likes to run the football, the what he can do in the receiving game as a blocker. I really like Ashton Jeanty. He's my number 2 back. And at number 1, you guessed it, Quinshon Judkins. I remember watching Jonathan Mingo a couple years ago when Quinshon Judkins was a freshman. I texted the mock draft guy. I'm like, who is this running back Judkins? This guy is unbelievable. And I kind of like kept that in the back of my mind, waiting for him to be draft eligible. Turned on the tape. He is unbelievable. I mean, there's very few areas that I can really point to as an issue in his game. Ollie Gordon might have a little bit better vision at times. I don't think Judkins' vision is bad. I think it's there. He's incredibly balanced. He's very hard to tackle. He's got a very good jump cut. He's patient. He's explosive. He's a receiving back. Now he's going to be in a split backfield, which is an issue for me because I think if this guy's the number one, you feel pretty good. But he also played with Ulysses Bentley, who took some carries from him. And he didn't have a lot of mileage on his legs, which I really like about him. I think he can improve his base as a pass protector, but Quinshon Judkins is as close to a Bijan Robinson level prospect as I think there is in this draft. He's got incredible size, receiving upside, balance, explosiveness. I love Quinshon Judkins, and he's my number one running back in the draft. But guys, let me know who's your favorite running back prospect in this draft class. Let me know if you guys did enjoy this video. Leave a like, subscribe if you are new. Be sure to check out the Patreon group. That'll be linked down in the description below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.